Hey guys, welcome back to a new strong practice video. In this video, I'll show you some ab exercises for calisthenics beginners. So without wasting any time, let's get started. The first exercise is the lying knee raise. All you have to do is lie on a bench, make sure there is no gap between your lower back and the bench, and then extend your hip. Hold, make sure there is no gap, and then come up. While closing the gap, again extend your hip, hold. Here my abs, my six packs are working, and then you come up. This, I believe, is the easiest exercise that a beginner can follow. If you're doing it on the floor, it's going to be a little bit hard, but if you're doing it on a bench, then it's going to be easy. Now, if you're not able to close this gap, that's okay. When you go down, if there is a gap, that's okay. If you're not able to close it, as you practice and as you get better at it, you will get stronger at the movement and you will be able to close the gap. So that's the first exercise. This is lying knee raises. In this exercise, we are lifting our legs up. That means we are training a set of muscles called the hip flexors that flexes our hip, brings our knee closer to our chest. And we're also training the lower abs here. We also need to train the upper part of the abs. So for that, we can do a, a starfish crunch. So again, get onto the position. And now what you're going to do is you're going to raise your torso to touch your opposite leg. So I'm raising my right side to touch my left toe. One. Now raise your left side to touch your right toe. Two. Again. One. Again. Two. In this exercise, we are flexing our upper abs. So as I do this movement of crunch, I can feel my upper abs contracting. We are also taking a diagonal path here. This will help us train our obliques. For these two exercises, you can target for 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps. In the previous two exercises, we tried to isolate the abs. Now what we'll try to do is use the abs along with other muscles. Like in a hang, we have to do a knee raise. So when you're hanging in an active hang, you're using your upper back muscles. Now you try to do a knee raise. Hold and down. Hold and down. So start with a knee raise. I have seen some people directly jump into a leg raise. The problem with a leg raise is that it demands a lot of flexibility in your posterior chain, in your hamstrings, in your lower back muscle, and your calves. So start with knee raises. If your goal is to strengthen your abs, then you have to start with knee raises, not with leg raises. You can also do the same exercise on a dip station. So I don't have a dip station, so I am using gymnastics rings. So it's going to be much harder. If you can begin with a dip station, that's best. If you don't have, then you can start with gymnastics rings, but it's going to be hard. So get onto the dip position. Here I'm using my chest and my upper back to stabilize my body in this position. And now you have to flex your hip down and then flex, down and then flex. So not a beginner movement, but if you practice the first two movements that I explained, this is going to come easy. The movements that we talked about till now were all about crunching the six pack. A lot of it was about crunching the upper part of the six pack or the lower part of the six packs. Now we also need to train some sort of rotation. So for that, for beginners, I will suggest Russian twists. So what we need to do is first let's try to understand what we should not do. The intention of the exercise is to train the torso in this rotated position. So when we rotate, our obliques and other abdominal muscles are working. So we need to rotate our torso under resistance. This exercise should not be done like this. If I'm in this position, I'm statically contracting my abs. And what I'm doing here is I'm just moving my arms like this. So I'm not contracting my torso. It's just my arms that are moving. No, that is not what you have to do. What you have to do is to rotate your torso and then touch the ground. Then again, rotate your torso. As I rotate my torso, you can see my upper back because I'm rotating right now. If I were cheating, you will not be able to see my upper back from that position because I'm just simply moving my hands. But now that I'm rotating, you can see my upper back. To adhere to the principle of this movement, what we can do is we can take assistance of a stick or a rod. What we're going to do is hold this shoulder width apart, and as we rotate our torso, we have to touch the floor with our hands. Now again, we have to touch the floor with both our hands. What it's going to do is it's going to make sure that we rotate our entire torso. If I were not using the stick, then there are chances that I could cheat by just throwing my arms around and fooling around. You can always start with a stick or a rod, but to make the movement harder, you can use a plate or a kettlebell or a dumbbell. So here I have a barbell that weighs 7.5 kgs. So as I do the movement with this barbell, I can feel that this is extremely hard when compared to the stick that I was using before. So just keep in mind, guys, you have to rotate your upper body, your torso. Don't just fool around by just moving your arms. I want to give you one more exercise that you can try if you are very good with the Russian twist, and that is just simply going on to a one arm push up position. Right now, I am in a push up position. I lift my hand off, and now I am in a one arm push up position. In a one arm push up position, my body wants to rotate in this direction, but I have to uh, oppose that movement. So the one arm push up position itself is a hard movement for the abs. If you want to make it even harder, you can hold on to a dumbbell or a barbell and then do a row. This is called renegade rows. Now, don't get confused. This says rows, but it is not an upper back movement. It's an anti-rotation movement that works on your abdominal muscles. So get on to this one arm position and row. This is extremely hard. I am pulling 7.5 kgs here. Initially, for a beginner, the one arm position itself is going to be difficult. And on top of that, to pull something like 2.5 kgs is going to be even harder. So once you are very good with Russian twist, and if you feel that you have confidence to do the renegade row or the one arm push up, you can go ahead with that. So that's all for today. Those are the movements that you have to practice. Now, the problem with ab training is that there's a lot of movement, and sometimes the beginner gets confused on what to do, what not to do. Sometimes people just go ahead holding the plank position for 10 to 15 minutes. You don't need to do a lot of work. Choose specific movements, work on that, improve your sets and your reps there. It should be more than enough. Before I sign off today, I want to give you one quick last tip. When you do a lot of calisthenics work, your abs get strained a lot, even in push-ups, pull-ups. You train your abs, you isometrically contract them. You need to remember that every time you finish your workout, you have to stretch your abs. If you keep training your abs, if you keep contracting them, the muscles around there are going to get tight. That's a reality. The muscles will get tight, and you will need to stretch them eventually. So it's always better to take 2 minutes at the end of your training and stretch your abs and extend your spine. So that's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you have any comments or questions, you can post them down below.